Welcome back to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. In the first segment, we talked about, I always want to say Paul George. I just need a big note. Paul George's departure from the LA.
George Paul. I'm like, it's George Paul.
It's all Beatles names. I get them confused. Segment 2, we talked about Klay Thompson's departure from the Golden State Warriors. And in segment 3, our previous segment, we talked about Stephen A. Smith's his contract negotiations, potentially leaving ESPN, and who could replace him on First Take. As I said, we are now moving into entertainment news with Will Smith, who's back in the media again, of course, with the premiere of Bad Boys 4. We are seeing a lot of him now. Tate, I know you want to see that movie, but we have seen a lot of trailers for it. At any rate, Will Smith's career is currently under scrutiny following the infamous altercation with Chris Rock at the Oscars, which resulted in a 10-year ban from the Academy Awards. Despite recent box office successes, including Bad Boys 4, Smith's journey back to the Oscars remains uncertain. The Academy's decision hinges on Smith's ability to demonstrate genuine remorse for his actions and maintain exemplary behavior moving forward. Paul N.J. Ottosson, a respected sound designer and 3-time Oscar winner, offered insights into Smith's situation. Ottosson believes in the importance of forgiveness, but supports the Academy's decision to uphold the ban as a consequence for Smith's behavior. He emphasized that Smith must earn his way back through continued acclaim and sincere contrition. Reflecting on Smith's career, Ottosson acknowledged his significant evolution from his days as a 90s box office star to his recent roles, notably praising his performance in King Richard. He highlighted Smith's maturity as an actor and as a person, suggesting that life experiences have shaped his growth and perspective. At the premiere of Protocol 7, where Ottosson shared his views, he discussed the complexities of forgiveness and redemption in Hollywood, paralleling them with controversial figures like Andrew Wakefield. Ottosson expressed the view that art should provoke discussion and that truths, even uncomfortable ones, deserve to be acknowledged. So, I actually don't fully know who Ottosson is, but he has thoughts.
Okay.
Lots and lots of people have thoughts. So, yeah, everyone has thoughts. I know you have thoughts. Let's talk about thoughts.
First off, he mentioned, more of Will Smith showing that he was sorry for what he's done. I think Will Smith has gone out of his way to say that was a bad moment, and he was sorry and should not have done this and that. And then the whole thing about showing good behavior and things. With the exception of, the pimp slap heard around the world. With the exception of that slap heard around the world, Will Smith has never done anything bad. So when you look at it and say, is there any guy that deserves a second chance more than Will Smith? He's been a model citizen his whole career. You look at some of the people in Hollywood, in the music industry, and some of the things that they have gotten in trouble with, from Robert Downey Jr. Look at his past. Look at, Mel Gibson. There's so many actors and actresses that have gotten into way more trouble than a guy getting upset and trying to defend his wife and having a slight moment of bad judgment. Granted, you don't normally see that on TV live, but it happens. I'm sorry. I think that 10-year ban should be lifted. He immediately has apologized to Chris Rock. Chris Rock has never really accepted the apology. And I can understand that. If he walked up on stage and slapped me like that, I would never forgive him either.
So you don't want me to just come up to you and slap you in the middle of a segment?
Oh, shoo. I'm telling you this right now. I'm just hashing this out. Me and Will have been rolling on off that stage together. I'm just saying, but he deserves that and deserves a second chance. Secondly, we're in Portugal, so to show you the magnitude of how big this was, the very next day, I mean, that night it happened, it was everywhere around Portugal and Spain. Before, like, everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. I remember it's the equivalent of, I think it was the equivalent of the DMV I had to go to. And I'm there and the ladies are talking about it, you know, they're talking about the slap, and it's just like, oh my goodness. And I'm shocked that people knew about this big incident. So this was not just a US based incident. This, when I call it the slap heard around the world, we are based in Portugal, in the southern part of Portugal, and everyone knew about it. So it's on if you're gonna slap someone, slap them on a global scale. you know what I mean? I mean, he really, only thing he was missing was a little talcum, little baby powder or something on there. You know, a little baby powder on there. That was the only thing that was missing.
Clearly, it wasn't premeditated.
Yeah, no. Oh yes. If you'd have walked up on stage with some baby powder.
I'm intrigued by the 10-year ban because there really isn't a precedent. We've never had, you know, kind of this public level of craziness at the Oscars, right? So yes, actions need to have consequences. I'm curious what went into those conversations, and then also the showing improved behavior. Well, his behavior's
you can't improve better on his behavior. He's just.
And that's outside of the Oscars. This happened at the Oscars, whereas outside the Oscars, his behavior has generally been impeccable. So he can't come to the Oscars, so he can't prove that he's well behaved at the Oscars. It's a little bit of a catch-22, I feel like.
And think about some of the people who have come to the Oscars and things that have happened with them, whether it was drug charges and other things and unsavory things. We won't make any accusations to anyone, but they've been welcome to come to the Oscar and never were banned for their action. Granted, this was at the Oscars.
Right. But he can't prove his good behavior at the Oscars because he can't go.
My question has always been, Will Smith is one of the best actors in the world. And, you know, even the night of the slap heard around the world, he won an Oscar that night, was able to do a speech, was able to apologize and everything. And then the media backlash, and that's when he ended up getting banned. But let's say, granted, Bad Boys 5?
4 is 4.
I gotta get it. And it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite.
You just want more.
Oh, I definitely do. I think this is the last one, but I mean, it's been my
years.
It's been my favorite series. This Bad Boys 4 is not going to win an Oscar, but I could totally see Will Smith getting an Oscar again or being eligible for an Oscar.
Being nominated, sure.
What happens when Will Smith comes up and he does the role of a lifetime and he's eligible to be nominated as an Oscar? Do they nominate him and do they allow him to come to the event? Do they say, no, you can't go to the event, but if you win, you can have a family member or a friend go up and accept it on your behalf? Do they roll you up on the stage like Hannibal Lecter to make sure you don't hurt anyone? You know what I mean? You know, do they have him in a cage and they roll him up like Hannibal Lecter? What do they do if Will Smith does something, does a role that makes him eligible to be nominated for an Oscar? And what do they do if he wins? That's the question that I have for you, Miss Sarah.
Well, yeah, it is an interesting question. I mean, even the fact that normally the previous year's winner presents the award to the next year, and you know what? I don't even know who did that.
Oh no, I didn't see. I didn't know that. Yeah, they just kind of.
I don't know, but as you were talking, I thought,
I can tell you two people it wasn't. I can tell you three people it wasn't. It wasn't Will Smith. It wasn't Chris Rock, and it wasn't Jada Pinkett Smith. It wasn't any of those that was going up there and nominating or presenting awards to anyone.
I'm looking. I thought, have other people been banned from the Oscars? So apparently, you can be banned, which is temporary, and you can be expelled, which is permanent.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have been banned according to the.
All right, let's see who's the 7 people that's been banned before.
Okay. So this is the person and the year they were banned. Richard Gere, 1993.
What did Richard Gere get banned for?
That's further down. Let's see. He was banned. Give me a second. He was issued a 20-year ban after he gave a speech while he presented the award for Best Art Direction. As Gere addressed the audience, he used his platform to discuss the issues in Tibet. I do remember this. Called out Deng Xiaoping, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party at the time. 20 years, so 19...
Wait, that's extreme, though. 20 years. My man got 20 years for speaking up on injustice?
So then Carmine Caridi, I don't know who that is, 2004. Bill Cosby in 2018.
Wait, what did Bill Cosby do?
Well,
he was giving out some Jello pudding pops. That's what he was doing.
Roman Polanski was banned in 2018. Harvey Weinstein was banned in 2017. Adam Kimmel was banned in 2021, and Will Smith in 2022. So,
and none of those guys have ever come back. So they've never. So there isn't a precedent of them ever allowing someone to come back. Richard Gere has never been, as far as I know, in anything Oscar worthy, nor has Bill Cosby or any of the other ones. Will Smith is the first one who has that opportunity to do a role that's worthy of an Oscar nomination.
I am looking to see if any of them have come back to the Oscars, just to be there. The interesting is that everyone banned from the Oscars. This list is all men.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So I'm just.
Well, I mean, Richard Gere, 20 years. They need that one needs to go away. He just spoke up for injustice. 20 years. I mean, it isn't like he went and slapped Sandra Bullock or something like that.
I'm just looking to see if anybody's ban was longer than 20 years. So I'm just kind of scrolling through here. This is not something I've ever looked up, to be honest with you.
I'm actually rethinking Will Smith's his sentence now. As much as I love me some Will Smith, for the record. But if Richard Gere got 25 years for speaking out against injustice to the 20 years. And Will got 10 for slapping Chris Rock, the host, and dropping an F-bomb. Keep your my wife's name out your no diggity mouth. I'm like, Richard Gere got 20. Will needs 30.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That don't make no sense to me.
An equation, some sort of
Because how is Richard Gere so much twice as bad as Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? I didn't even realize that. And I don't want Will Smith punished any longer. I want to make sure that is very clear. I just feel like 20 years for Richard Gere may be a little strong. So,
yeah. But we do need to wrap up this segment so we can finish out the show with our 5th segment. When we come back, we will be talking about the Paris Olympics, which I wish I could go to because, you know what? I could drive to the Paris Olympics. But we're going to talk about that when we come back. You are tuned into the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.